All right, we're 8:03, so let's go ahead and get started. If anybody pops in later, they can just join in. But I want to do just a kind of a more focused training tonight on inviting people to just take a look at the business, okay? Which is really the first step in the whole system. And in my opinion, it's really the most important one because it's where everything begins. It's where everything starts. And I really wanted to cover some things that answer a lot of people's questions and a lot of people's issues that they run into when they invite. Things like, people say they feel like they're having to chase people down, or they don't have people getting back in touch with them, or they maybe send them the link to the website and they don't hear from them again, right? So that's what we're going to cover. And I wanted to I've got just some slides to go through that really kind of break it down into really kind of three parts. Is number one, what are you doing when you're really inviting? What's your whole purpose? And then number two, just some things to do and say, and then some things to not do and say, and really how you can never really get a bad result when you're inviting people to take a look at the business, okay? So I think what a lot of things that stop people is that they kind of make the decision in their mind that somebody is or is not going to join the business. So that's what we're going to cover. But I see Chris jumped on there. Welcome, Chris. If anybody else jumps on, let's see. We've got Dave jumping on. So welcome, guys. We're going to go ahead and get started with the training. I was just kind of going over what we're going to cover. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is David Lee. I'm an executive consultant in the business. Been partnered with Ambit for about 6.5 years now. So I am live in Garland, just east of Dallas. So I know some of us on here that are coming on all different parts of Texas, different parts of the country. We've had some people on here from Canada. Very few people jump on to this training from Japan because the time difference is so crazy. But okay, let's get started here. I'm going to do a share screen. And then after I do that, I'm going to mute all you guys so we don't have any background noise. But maybe you guys can give me just a verbal signal after I do this share screen. Let's see. All right, so let's get this started from the beginning. Okay. So let me know if you guys can see this. Give me, give me like a little thumbs up, or give me like a little thumbs up or something if you guys can see my screen, just to make sure you share it. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to minimize this. So, all right, so we really want to focus on the invitation, again, and really kind of understanding what you're really doing when you're inviting someone to check out the business. And really your job is just to invite. It's not to try to explain the business to somebody or to try to tell them all about, what you know and what you've experienced and all that. It literally is just a simple invitation. And one huge thing that I learned that made a massive difference in my business was to always say less to more people, okay? And it really is as simple as that. You really don't need to talk much at all. So many people I've seen, and I absolutely used to do this, was you end up talking your way out of it, right? You say too much. You'll hear Mary say a lot to not throw up Ambit all over people. And that's definitely true. So make that one of your philosophies. Say less to more people. And really what you're doing when you're inviting is you're beginning to pour people into the funnel, okay, which is the system. And, this is kind of a graphic I made. This is part of this training is part of a bigger online course that I have. But the invitation is the gateway into the system, into the funnel. Okay, so invitation, presentation, follow-up, validation, decision, okay? Or you might even, get rid of the follow-up. Sometimes you don't even need to follow up. But the more people you can pour into that funnel, the more people that are going to come out of it. Okay. So the funnel acts almost like a filter. It helps you sort through people. And one of your big goals when you're inviting people is to set an appointment, set a time for the presentation. The invitation is not the presentation, okay? When you're inviting somebody to take a look at what you're doing, to take a look at the business, you're not presenting the business at all, okay? So the goal is to set a specific time that works for them, or that works for both of you. And always realize that you're not trying to convince anyone to do anything, okay? When you're inviting people to look at the business, that's it. It's just inviting. Your job is not to convince. Your job is not to try to get people to do something that they don't want to do. Okay, so if you kind of have that feeling when you're inviting somebody, or when, before you invite yourself, or before you invite somebody to look at the business, and, those kind of thoughts go through your head, just kind of be confident knowing that your job isn't to try to convince anyone. It's just to invite, okay? And a big tip that I learned along the way, and all of this stuff obviously is stuff that I've learned and that I've implemented, had success with, but this was huge. Be in a hurry, okay? Because if you're in a hurry when you're inviting somebody to look at the business, there's no time for explaining about the business, okay? Even if they ask, well, what do you got? Or what is it? You can just say, well, hey, I'm in a hurry and I would really confuse you if I tried to explain it anyway. And again, set the time, set an appointment, okay? And we'll look at a couple of tips later on that. And you may even begin with, hey, I'm in a hurry, but I wanted to see if you'd be open to taking a look at something, okay? So if you set that tone in the beginning, you're in a hurry, so you don't have time to sit there and, try to present the business to them, which is not what we're doing anyway. So how do you make an invitation that's no pressure? You don't feel weird, you don't feel salesy or nothing at all, because a proper invitation shouldn't feel that way whatsoever, okay? Number one is to really stay in control. It's your business, so stay in control of the conversation and really try to keep it less than 60 seconds, okay? And that takes a little bit of practice, and that's fine. You can practice with your team, senior consultant, executive consultant. Practice it. Practice your invitation. Say it in the mirror. But don't be robotic about it. It doesn't have to be anything weird. Just be normal, right? We all know how to talk to people, so just be normal. But keep it short. Some people like to keep it under 30 seconds, and that's great. And your posture and your excitement is really everything. I mean, it means a lot, okay? And again, posture can come with practice. And again, it really takes a ton of pressure or self-doubt or whatever out of it when you realize that all you're doing is just inviting somebody. And then this is something that's huge that I learned from Ray Higdon. He always says to not be addicted to the outcome. And think about that for a second. What that essentially means is don't be emotionally attached to whether they join the business or not, or whether they say yes or no, okay? You're fine either way, okay? You're going to build your business with or without any one person. So your business is never built, your business doesn't hinge on one person saying yes or no to the business or to the opportunity. So don't be emotionally attached to the outcome. It's totally fine if the business isn't for them. And then realize, and this is kind of a mindset thing, the benefit is theirs, okay? You don't necessarily need them, okay? You're presenting an opportunity to them, a possible solution to them to make some extra money, to pay off debt, whatever it is that they see for themselves. Okay. So don't approach it as you need them or your success hinges on what they're going to say. The benefit is theirs, the opportunity is theirs. You're just opening the door for them to check out an opportunity for them. And then confidence just comes with experience. Okay. And that's going to come. Just do it more, do it more. Nobody's great at first. Nobody's perfect at first. Now the invitation may be something that find that you're really good at. It might be a part that, comes very natural to you, but it's something that everybody can do. And like with anything, you just get better with experience. Okay. So a big pro tip there that I learned is just be willing to mess up. Okay. Just go out there and do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't feel like that you haven't, just got it down yet. Just go out there and do it. You learn as you go. And you've heard any of y'all that's heard me talk or anything, you've heard me say this countless times. In this business, we learn along the way. We learn as we go. We go take action. We come back to, your team, senior consultant, executive consultant. We come on these trainings, and then we learn and we tweak a little bit of things. We improve in a little bit of areas. And that's just how you do it. That's how you learn. That's how you learn anything, right? So be willing to mess up. And those of you who were at the training on Saturday or who maybe live streamed it, you saw that video of Ronnie Kirkland, and it's a classic line that he has. He used to say, before you're great, you got to be good. And before you're good, you got to be bad. And before you're bad, you got to get started. Okay. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. Okay. And then some things to say and do, and then to not say and do. Okay. So we'll look at some actual specifics here and some of my favorites. So number one, when you're making an invitation for somebody to look at the business, make sure that you're leveraging a personal connection. Okay. And it doesn't have to be your best friend. You should present this opportunity to your best friend. Why would you not? But it may be somebody that you went to college with. It may be somebody that you used to work with. But make sure that it's an individual person. Make individual invitations because you have an individual relationship with that person. Don't text a group of people. Don't email a group of people. You'll get crickets. Okay, you'll get no responses. But invite individual people because you're leveraging an individual relationship, and you have an individual relationship with that person. If you have 100 friends, you've got 100 different individual relationships. And then also listen for a need or a want or an issue from the people that you're inviting, because a lot of times you can pick up on that. Now, I'm not saying to wait until you identify a need or an issue or something, but sometimes it just kind of comes up in conversation. Sometimes you see a post on Facebook or whatever, but if you see an opportunity that you think this business might help people, why would you not invite them to take a look at it? Okay. And then leverage that. Maybe it's somebody talking about, trying to make some extra money to go on summer vacation. Maybe it's a teacher that's off for the summer and they're looking for a way to make some extra money. Maybe it's somebody paying off credit card debt, whatever. Pay attention to each individual person's need, want, and issue so that it gives you the opportunity to provide a possible solution. Okay. Now, in one of the first slides, we talked about a big goal of setting an appointment. So make sure you confirm a time with people. When you're inviting somebody to take a look at the business, maybe you're using your Energy 526 website, don't just send them the link. Confirm a time first. Confirm a time where they will give you maybe 15 or 20 minutes of their attention, okay? And ask them, what's a good time? A lot of people, it's going to be at night, maybe after they put the kids to bed, maybe on their lunch break or something like that. Maybe even offer up a couple of times that might work. If they say, yeah, call me tomorrow night. Great. How about 8:30? Yeah, that works. Okay, great. So the whole point of that is to make sure that you've set an appointment and a time that you've both agreed to. Now, you may pick up the phone and call somebody to invite them to look at the business, and they may have 15 or 20 minutes right then. Okay? So, if that works out for the both of you, great. Have them go to their computer, their tablet, whatever, give them the link over the phone and have them watch the presentation there. If you're inviting them to come to a live presentation, like at the Dallas meeting tomorrow night, um, that's the time, right? So it's 7:30. So that's the whole point. Confirm a time. Don't just send them the link. Don't just text them the link and say, hey, let me know what you think. Talk to you in 2 months. But make sure you've got their undivided attention. And then if it's somebody that you maybe don't have their phone number, make sure that you get their contact information. Okay. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's another parent at your kid's school that but you haven't really, you don't have their contact information yet. Obviously, when you're brand new, for new consultants, you're going to be going through your list of people that you know pretty well. But anytime that you're inviting somebody, make sure that you have their contact information. And then asking for a favor is a good way to just kind of soften things. And, just that approach is, hey, I want to see if you might be willing to do me a quick favor. We'll only take you about 15 or 20 minutes. And again, I didn't say the word ambit. I didn't say the word energy or electricity or anything. The whole point is just to see if they're open to taking about 15, 20 minutes to take a look at what you're doing. And here are a few phrases that I really, really like and have worked out really well for me. And again, stuff I learned just along the way. Are you open to? Okay. And what might follow that would be, are you open to ways to make some extra money if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing? Hey, would you be open to taking a look at a side business that I'm doing? And, there may be somebody on your list that, wow, that was the first person you thought of. And tell them that, hey, you were one of the first person or one of the first people that I thought of. What's really powerful about are you open to, or would you be open to, is that it's really hard to say no to. Okay. Very few people are not at least open to taking a look, or at least they don't want to come across as not being open, right? People don't like coming across as being closed-minded. So just seeing if they're actually open to it. And again, I said this before, but if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing, okay? Because a lot of people think, oh man, I've got this job and I can't, I don't know. But you can sort of reassure them if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing. Are you open to taking a look at a way to make some extra money if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing? Okay. Very hard to say no to. And again, the whole purpose is to just see if they're open to it. See if they'll give you 15 or 20 minutes to take a look at what you're doing. Maybe it's a great opportunity for them. Maybe you see somebody on Facebook saying, hey, we're really, the family's planning on going to the beach this summer, trying to make some extra money for it, or, my daughter's trying to raise money for some event or whatever. And you might say, hey, I saw your Facebook post. I actually might have something that might help you out if you're open to taking a look at it. Very hard to say no to. And I really love this one. This is another one. I think I learned this one from Ray Higdon. He says, I promise I'll call you back at whatever. Okay. Now this is after you've set a time with them. So let's say you call somebody and you invite them to take a look at what you're doing, or, you think it might be a great fit for them. And they say, and when you call somebody, usually that time out of the blue is not going to be a good time for them to look at the business. Or maybe you work with the person, okay? And you don't want to do it during work hours, that's fine. So ask them what would be a good time that works for you. And if they say, yeah, call me tonight at 8:30 or check with me tomorrow at 9 o'clock, great. I promise I'll call you back at 9. That's really powerful because it conveys that you're doing something for them, okay? And that it's important to you, okay? So you're confirming that time and you're reinforcing that you've set a time with them, okay? And this is also a good point to text your team, text, your senior consultant, your executive consultant, and to say, hey, I've got an appointment set up at 9 o'clock. I've got somebody watching the Energy 526 video. Would somebody be available for a three-way call if we need them? Okay. Now we're not going to cover validation calls in this training. Hopefully everybody on here has gone through the Ambit Quick Start training at ambitquickstart.com. But this is just a little kind of nugget in there that I've really, really liked when you've already set an appointment with somebody and you tell them, great, I promise I'll call you back at 9 or whatever. Or if you're coming over to their house or whatever, great, I promise I'll be over there at 8:30. And then this is something I learned from Doug Parker. Doug's an executive in McKinney, Texas, and I've used this. And again, this might be something if you don't have the person's contact information. And again, maybe it's somebody that you work with, maybe it's somebody that your kids go to school with or play baseball with or whatever. Maybe it's somebody that you bring your dry cleaners to. I don't know. But this is it's really good. He says, text me your email address. Okay. So you've got their phone number, you got their email address, and you got their name. Okay. And again, that keeps it in your control. If you give them your information, or if you give them your contact information, you're giving them control to call you or to get back in touch with you. You want to stay in control of your business. Okay. Get their contact information, because there's about a 100% chance that you're going to call them or contact them. And the chance that they are going to call you or contact you is a whole lot less than that. A couple more phrases I really like. If I, would you, okay? And it might look like this. If I sent you a short video that explains what I'm doing, would you watch it by tonight? Okay, learn this one from Eric Worre. If I, would you? And again, it conveys some value to them. And it also conveys a little bit of mutual kind of connection. Okay, so these are just some, things that you might want to try. Certainly don't have to, try all of them, but they've worked for me just in different situations. And again, make this stuff your own. You don't have to exactly follow this word for word. Think about it more as sort of just kind of a mindset and just some overall kind of tips. But don't be, make it your own. You don't have to be weird about it. You don't have to, speak Ambit speak or network marketing speak. Just be a person, okay? Just like normal. I wanted to show you guys this. This is a actual Facebook message invite that I did a few days ago. So I took some screenshots of it. This is a guy that follows a Texas Longhorns fan page that I run, and he's pretty active on the page, and he's a personal trainer. He's a business owner. He owns a gym. I thought he lived in Texas, but he actually lives in New York. I didn't even know that. But I just sent him a message. I don't have his phone number. So I sent him a message. I said, hey, Brian, I know you're a business owner, as am I, and I have some business expanding through Texas, something I've been building for over 6 years. Wanted to see if you'd be open to taking a look at what I do. It may or may not be a fit for you, but you seem like a pretty connected guy, right? So I'm kind of elevating him, and he is, and might be able to put me in touch with some people. I'd appreciate it. Okay. Now, even that's probably a little long-winded, but you can see how quick it is. So kind of the keys there are, I know he's a business owner, so we've got something in common. We're also Longhorns fans. And then I wanted to see if you'd be open to taking a look at it, and, just me kind of seeing him as a pretty well-connected person, which he is. He said, absolutely, yes, I'm always interested in business. If I can help in any way, that'd be great. But if I can't, I might lead you in the right direction with someone I know who would be a great fit. Other than athletes, I train many of my clients are business owners. Awesome. Perfect. And again, we didn't have time to do it, right then, but we did set up a time later. We took it off of Facebook. We took it off of social media. He gave me his phone number. I gave him mine. And I even said, hey, awesome, man. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm headed to a networking meeting right now, but let's set a time maybe tomorrow or Saturday when you might be free for about 20 minutes. Okay. So again, that's the whole point. Just invite. It's just an invitation. And a pro tip with that is you can never get a bad result from an invitation. Okay. And here's why. There's essentially 4 possible outcomes. Number 1, you end up getting a new consultant out of it. Awesome. Number 2, maybe you end up getting a customer. Also awesome. Customers are good for business. Number 3, maybe you end up getting somebody who can refer some people to you or put you in touch with some people. Maybe the business isn't a good fit for them, but maybe, holy crap, my sister-in-law, she would love this. Or, man, my parents really need some extra money. They're retired. So again, never a bad result. And number 4, worst case scenario, you got somebody who can support you in your business and who has a better understanding of what you're doing and why you're doing it. Okay. And that's another big tip. Tell people why you're doing the business. Okay. Hey, I started a part-time business or a business on the side to help my daughter, with her preschool, whatever. All right, so I think there's one more. All right, so I wanted to give you a little bit of homework. This week, invite. Oh, thought there was a chat. I was checking the chat to see if you guys might not be able to hear me. But so here's your homework. Invite just 2 or 3 people this week. Okay, just an invitation. Invite, set up the time, set up an appointment, just 2 or 3, and then get with your senior consultant, your executive consultant, to just talk about how it went, okay? And I use a lot of sports analogies, and it's just like sports, right? You go run a few plays, and what do you do after that? You come back on the sideline, you talk to the coach, okay? Or, what do you do then? Well, you talk about what happened. You make a little tweaks, a few little adjustments. That's this business, okay? Don't ever think that somebody's too busy to coach you through this, okay? That's what we do. Take action, come back for coaching, take some more action, come back for coaching, and it's just rinse and repeat, okay? So that's your homework assignment. Call me if you want to talk to me about how it went. I don't care whose team you're on, whatever. Most of you guys have my phone number. If you don't, I'll definitely be glad to give it out. But and just tell people what's going on. Hey, I invited Jeff. He's going to look at the video tomorrow night at 9, and just kind of talk about how it went, because everybody will have different responses, and that's okay. The more you do it, the more you'll get used to it. All right. That is all I have, people. Hope that made sense. I hope that wasn't like too much stuff, but I wanted to go over like some actual specifics, okay, on it, and then give you guys some like, some things to say, things to not say. So some actual, and then just kind of that actual example there. So if anybody has any questions, it's 8:32, so we have a little bit of time to do a quick Q&A, or if anybody has like an example of, maybe an invitation that you did that you want to kind of share. But if you do, just unmute your line. You'll have to click the mute button or whatever. Just unmute your own line, and then just ask.
Hey, David, Chris.
What's up, Chris?
I didn't mean to distract you with that chat. I typed it.
Oh, no, it's all right.
I'm not going to send this. And anyway, So no, thanks for that. That was actually really great. Just something that I just wanted to mention so you could clarify it. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that Eric Worre is talking about is sending them something to look at before you have a conversation with them and you're getting back to them.
Mm-hmm.
And which is awesome. I get that. And there's been other times where I've heard that, sending them something in advance isn't ideal. The ideal thing is to do it together with them because they'll have questions. There's a lot of context, so that sort of thing. So I'm sure you've heard both schools of thought. I just wanted to get your comment on reconciling those two things because they're both said, and I think either could work, obviously.
So I think in our business, we don't have any products. We don't have any samples for anybody to try, so it's a little, I think it's a little unique for our business. And, what I've found and, what I've always been trained on and what's worked for me is just to make the whole purpose of the invitation is to just see if somebody's open to taking a look at it. Okay. And if they start asking about it, well, sure, what do you got? What is it? I always just say, I really can't verbally explain it to you. It's actually more of a visual presentation. But, if you're free for 15 or 20 minutes, I'd love to show it to you. And if they're open to it, see when they would be free for 15 or 20 minutes. And again, it comes from I think from a mindset of them taking the time to take a look at what you're doing, or if they've already said that, yeah, I'm open to making some extra money, then great. Then we set the appointment. The one thing you don't want to do is just send them the link and then it's just kind of floating around up in the air, right? Because what happens then is you start having to make these phone calls trying to chase after them. A day goes by, 2 or 3 days go by, 5 days go by, and then it gets weird, right? I've called people once, left a message, twice, maybe wait a couple days, left another message. But if you've agreed to a time and they know it and you know it, that and another thing is, I think that's just very professional. That's keeping things real professional. So, and just kind of wrapping all that up, I think that's a unique thing to our business. I just never give up control of the conversation. Don't send somebody the link and then just kind of sit around and wait for them to get back to you.
Yeah.
That's a bad thing. And you having to turn into chasing them is a bad thing.
Yeah.
So those two results are bad, but setting an appointment, setting a time that you both agreed on, that's what works.
That makes sense. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Good question. Anybody else?
You know what? Just on that note, I actually I did an invitation with someone recently, and so we had a time set, and they asked for me to send the videos to them, and I was like, oh man. But now it makes now I'm more comfortable. That's almost like it's great, right? It shows interest.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and you can say, hey, I just want to make sure that you're in the right spot, because I've had some people, try to get on there and they're on the wrong link or they're on the wrong site, and you can kind of convey that to them too, that you want to make sure that, that they're looking at the right thing. And a lot of times if you're on the phone with somebody and you're calling them back, it's also good just to have them, if they're at their computer or their tablet or whatever, just verbally give the link. Mine's dreamagain.energy526.com. Hey, do you see my name up there? Do you see my picture? All right, you're in the right spot. Awesome. And I also maybe usually tell people that, hey, that is our official business presentation. In kind of conveying that, hey, that's the official thing that we show everybody. if you're using the Energy 526 link. Anybody else? Had some people jump on a little late. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about that or about maybe anything else we can help you with, we're coming up on about 8:40, so we have a couple more minutes. But if anybody has any other questions, just unmute your line so that we can hear you. I think everybody's still muted, but just unmute your own line and then just ask away. Or any if there's anything else we can help with too, just let me know. It doesn't have to be inviting.
Another quick question. So can you just maybe verbalize some of the things you'd say when someone tries getting into it with you, like during the invitation? Like clarify some of the things you'd say to just push it off, obviously being in a hurry, but some of the things you might say.
Yeah. And, but the thing about being in a hurry is I found that it's really good because it sets the tone. I've got 4 kids and I'm always in a hurry, right? I mean, I don't know of anybody that's not really in a hurry or that's not busy, right? So that just kind of sets the tone, number one, in the beginning. But really the only pushback that I've ever really gotten, and I think that most people get, is people just kind of ask, well, what is it? What do you got? Or sure, well, what are you doing? And I just always say, hey, I like I said, I'm kind of in a hurry and I really can't verbally explain it to you anyway. I would just confuse the both of us. Or you might say, hey, it's a pretty visual presentation, so it's in a video format, and I really just can't explain the video for it. And I can't. I can't explain the levels and the RC bonus and the $80, bonus and the EC, code column. I'm not going to try to verbally explain that to anybody. I've been doing this for 6 years, But yeah, that's a good question too. And you'll get the spectrum of responses. You'll get the easier response of, yeah, sure, call me tonight after 9 o'clock. I put the kids to bed at 9. Great, I'll call you at 9. Or yeah, I got about 15 minutes right now. Great, but yeah, you'll get a lot of it. But the more you do it, the more responses you'll get. And that's where you do 2 or 3, and then you get with your, your senior consultant or executive consultant. You just said, hey, I invited this guy, and it was really weird. He said this, and I said this, and you just kind of tweak it along the way. That's where people, you're not by yourself. It's almost like you're taking action, you're traveling, and you just you got to make a little, just tweaks along the way, little turns and adjustments.
What if you're, so this happened to me recently. I'm not going to explain what happened, but what if you're having coffee with someone who you've kind of, building a relationship with, and so the intention wasn't to show the business to them, right? But it comes up like, hey, what do you do? What's your business? And when this happened to me recently, I just kind of whipped out my iPad and I'm like, take a look at this video. And then all of a sudden we're in this conversation, which was fine. But I felt like I was kind of jumping them a little bit with it. Not really, but you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess I know there's no like recipe, but
sure. Yeah. And some of that is just kind of the flow of the conversation, right? What do you do? Well, what do you do? And, and I still to this day tell people that, I do some freelance writing and editing, and then I have a part-time energy consulting business, or I help people save money on their energy bills. Some people get it for free and I get paid on it every month. So, and you can kind of see kind of a peak of interest there. And you just might say, well, like, who's your electricity provider? And if they say TXU or whatever, and, so you can kind of maybe take the conversation, if they're willing to kind of take the ride with you, almost like you're trying to explain it to them in the way of, well, like, who's your electricity provider? Well, it's, so-and-so, and then you can kind of see, they'll give an indication if they're, interested in learning more or or kind of, kind of want to know more. Yeah. Or, just, you might say, hey, I'd love to show you what I do, and then, kind of go from there, seeing if they're open to taking a look at it.
Don't just whip out the iPad and flash the.
Hey, if they're open to it, yeah, you got it with you. Open to it.
That's literally what I did. I went, I grabbed the iPad.
Yeah.
That's why I said I wasn't going to share this, but it's just kind of funny now. So I liked how you say it.
Hey, if they're open to it, yeah, take a look at it. Hey, I'd love to show you what I do, or
Yeah.
I mean, if people are open to it, go ahead. And again, consultant, customer, referral source, or somebody that just understands what you're doing. I mean, you can never get a bad result from inviting somebody to look at the business. Never. There's not a bad result. They may think you're absolutely insane for doing this business, but I don't care. Like, I don't need somebody to validate a $1 billion energy company that's operating in 3 countries.
Yeah.
Sorry. Maybe if the person that I'm inviting also has a $1 billion company, then I might, try, want to get their opinion on $1 billion companies, but so. All right, guys. If anybody has any other questions, speak now or forever hold your questions. Just kidding. Anybody can ask a question at any time. Some people might be driving. Some people might have their phone, but some people are just able to listen in. But I hope that helped, guys. Like I said, I wanted to do something that was pretty focused, kind of really, really focused on inviting. We talk a lot about invitation, presentation, validation, but sometimes I like those trainings that get real specific on inviting. And if you want to go check out, let's see, Mike, I'm trying to remember Mike Obey's website, but he has a website with a bunch of videos, real short videos, all on inviting. Okay. He's one of the absolute top-notch inviters, but I don't know what his URL is, but it's maybe you can just search Mike Obey invitation Ambit or something like that. But he's got, like, how do you invite a business owner? How do you invite a mom? How do you invite, I don't know, a lawyer or somebody, in your community, or a neighbor or whatever. So he's got, like, different ways to connect with that person, right? Because you have a different relationship with everybody. Okay. And that's, that's really what you're doing, is leveraging those individual relationships. All right, man. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for the text. Thanks for jumping on, everybody. We will see you guys next on the Sunday night call, 8:30, same bat link, ambitdnalive.com. But Sunday night, definitely always watch out for your emails. If you're not getting those, let us know for some reason. But Jared always does a good job of sending out those emails, reminding everybody of those. So, and invite more people on, and we will do it again. All right. So I'll end the recording, and you guys